The UFL Gambling Podcast Week 4 reaction show and power rankings episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com with the promo code TCESGPN to get $1,000 in bonus credits. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
This is Brian Bosworth, a.k.a. The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
Welcome to the UFL Gambling Podcast Week 4 reaction show where crossroads meet bullshit. Hop on over youtube.com/at the UFL Gambling Pod. Also wherever you get your podcasts, but you can watch this show. I highly recommend it actually, because I put the Slide Master's doing things. We got slides for the show. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Whoa. Plus, what was it? Plus 270 on the money line. God damn, I love this phony league. Let's go. All right. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. You should be subscribed to. They've been giving out some bobs and golf, NHL, NFL draft coverage. Give it up for Scumbagger Vance, a.k.a. the Bet Detective, C.J. Sullivan. How are you, pal?
Good, and don't forget WrestleMania bombs. I gave out a few of those. That's why I'm rocking the We Watch Wrestling podcast from my buddy Vinny Averill, who was a wrestling podcast, who gave us some bombs. And it's also in honor of the UFL CEO, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who watches wrestling and apparently not the UFL because he didn't mention it once on his national interview today with the great Pat McAfee. He had to just talk about how he wasn't at WrestleMania, but he did show up in the kitchen in Hawaii somewhere. Not to mention UFL once. It's pretty telling, as they say, what's been going on there. But hey, at least he watches wrestling. Glad we got that clear, Rock.
Can't he just do a solid and give it back to Vince McMahon, being like, you know what? Have this thing. I paid for it. You have it. Because Vince will be there. Vince will show. Now, the problem is no one wants Vince showing anywhere. You know? Oh, some little scandal here, scandal there. Who knows if it's true?
Whatever.
We are joined by a third man in the booth. This guy is always involved in a scandal of some sort with a goddamn lawnmower. Give it up for the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast, Justin Mark, a.k.a. No Turn J. Mark. How are you, pal?
Doing good. It's wild to me that you can get championship exacta result bets out there for the UFL. That just seems crazy. I mean, they're begging people to watch at this point, right? They're like,
yeah,
why don't you take Panthers to beat DC at 14-1? It'll make it more interesting. Come on, do it.
Not bad. It's not a bad play.
Not a bad play. Not a bad play.
I threw that one out there on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. This could be a fun episode. We're gonna talk a lot of shit. For 3-1 ATS 3-1.
I'll wait till J Mark validifies the records on. I'm not taking your records coming on. We all know how that goes. But anyway, I was rearing this episode. Let's go. Let's fire it.
Oh, I got slides. Let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, I got slides.
Slide Master was doing his goddamn thing. These showboats. Now, this is the one loss for old Dundee.
Yeah.
These goddamn showboats marching into town.
Whoa. Okay. All right. I'm already seeing a flaw, but go ahead. Yes. This was awful. The showboats are terrible.
I thought they'd be able to be all right. Now, I will say this. I got several DMs, even a text message saying, Dundee, you are so on point with your Bryce Perkins talk because Bryce Perkins...
I'd like to see these receipts as well.
From the UFL
I'd like to see these DM
I got
receipts.
it, buddy. I got it. I'll fucking take screenshots. All right, we got evidence. All right, I got a lot of this Perkins talk. All right, for a second I thought it was Sam Perkins because I wasn't used to that much Perkins talk.
Big smooth.
Yeah, and if you caught this game, you caught Bryce Perkins proving that Pick Dundee is absolutely correct with his analysis of him being the top quarterback currently in the league, because he first off, I think it's great to see he gets the entire game to play football. 15 of 22 for 200 yards. Now 68% completion percentage, guys. 9.1 yards, dude. Give him the MVP right now. Anytime. I don't know that a quarterback's ever got 9.1 yards of completion with this many fucking attempts in this league. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also shit on my under prop on Underdog Fantasy because I thought he would have under. I think it was 35.5 rushing yards. He had 45. He's just super dynamic, as they say, and. Yeah, my mistake for fading him, especially knowing that he was probably going to play majority of the game.
The fuck is that?
I mean, this was just, the showboats are fucking horrible. 2.8 yards a rush, 2.8 yards a rush, and 2.9 yards a play. So you can tell how great the passing game was. Bet Detective, you were all over the Michigan Panthers. I apologize.
150 total yards for Memphis as well. This is absolutely crazy. EJ Perry, it was EJ Perry, but in Troy Williams, not much better. 37 quarterback rating, 56 quarterback rating. I mean, they're just pathetic. They're getting worse and worse. They're the one team with Weisenhunt leaving twice in 4 weeks to come in. Yep, I was right. No, let's try it again. Now let's try to rekindle this relationship. No, this doesn't work. And he walked out again, and it looked like it. I mean, even Adams, can't get anything going now. Their offense just looks absolutely pathetic. Perkins did look great. But as I say in the chat, Etling's on his way back, and he's going to work his way back in that lineup. But I was asking J Mark beforehand if there is an MVP market, because Perkins wouldn't be a bad share if you can get a good price on it. But I doubt you could now. But yeah, congratulations, to Perkins, and all the DMs congratulating you on Perkins. Congratulations on all that.
A lot of good talk. They say I'm sharp, just not on this game. I mean. You would think if I was that all over Bryce Perkins, I would have loaded up on this game, but I was a bit confused. I'm trying to remember. The problem with is this the one where the replay was just no? That was the DC game, right? I think that's the DC game with the replay where I have an issue with it basically was kind of the Birmingham Stallions thing again. So it was the DC game. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm getting confused for a second. But J Mark, your thoughts on the showboats and the Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, I took the showboats because I said I don't know if we can trust the Panthers to cover. What a dumb move to trust the showboats to cover. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
They're terrible. There's not a lot to be said about how bad they are. I mean, their 2 quarterbacks averaged 3.6 yards per passing attempt. Troy Williams was 1.6. Just they need different quarterbacks. Like, how do you average 1.6 yards per attempt? What the fuck?
I still don't believe that this is the best you can do. A perfect example will be in one of the games we talk about. But yeah, I mean, the showboats are terrible. Another thing is bringing an offensive coordinator on Thursday. Maybe not the best move.
Did you hear the announcers? I was listening to this, and the announcer said it's like he learned French in high school, and he knows high school French, but he's speaking to French people. And even Miranda looked at me and said, "What the fuck is he saying?"
That's
I
hilarious.
have no idea.
Was that Klatt pulling that out? I can't remember. Yeah.
So he doesn't know French, you're saying, right? Is that what that means?
Yeah, and I mean, just dominance. Now, I have a future on the Michigan Panthers, so
I'll say they look they looked like the Michigan of old almost. Like, oh, that's the roster I remember Michigan, where they're one of the more they can enforce their will and dominant teams. But at the same time, the other side of that coin is it's against Memphis, and it's hard to judge anything you're playing against these Memphis teams. I mean, they're just that bad.
Yeah.
They're so good at running the ball, though, and it doesn't matter who's running it. I mean, we saw Sheridan last week. Toa got involved. McCrary was still running. I mean, they're just
McCrary was good. Shout out to Jay Mark and Toto. That was you called him out there for that. He's gonna have a good game. You had him in the lineup too, didn't you?
I did not. I mentioned that he was.
You did mention him. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. I'll give you credit for that.
Fair enough.
I think they're the best roster this year, but the problem is Mike Nolan too much of a putz to win the Freedom Cup here because I was thinking about this and I was like, man, yeah, with the run game like that and the fact that Perkins can run the ball too, and then he's that accurate of a passer, you can stretch the field, and also you have to fear his run. They're in my mind, they're the most complete roster. But Mike Nolan is a big question mark to me, as you saw. Like he had to play. You know, he was pissed off. He had to play Perkins the whole game. He's like, this 200 yards, 9 yards of completion, touchdowns, and no interceptions. Terrible. What the fuck are we doing? Would love to sprinkle in Danny Etling or Alan Bowman in the middle of this. Him looking this hot.
Well, Bowman's gone now because Etling's coming back. They cut Bowman already.
They cut Bowman because Etling's coming back for Perkins' job, baby.
I love that headline too. Bowman goes, I think I can play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't even play in the UFL.
Tell you what, we'll fast track you there. You can skip this step right away.
Shout out to Gladiator Dog that's been reading Emery Hunt's material. Heard that the Boats had Jason Bean. They should start him. He never reported to camp, and I don't blame him. After watching this team, who can blame him?
Right, all right.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like the scene in Major League. How would you like to manage the Cleveland Indians? Oh, I got some drywall I got to put up. Next up, we had just dominance here. I was on the over. They're announcing. We should do 5 minutes on the announcer. That's just a fucking moron. But Arlington, our future looked better and better and better. Did all three of us take the Renegades?
Yes. Oh, wait, no.
No, I had St. Louis in this, and I don't even care because the under was my play in this today. I touted this as my play of the weekend. It was my favorite play at 30, a huge number for 39.5. And I can't wait for this recap to be over with because this was traumatic for me already on Saturday. The announcer called it the worst beat of the century in UFL, whatever that even means. What century is it? In this league 2 years old? What are you talking about? The century? Well, but it's just absolute insanity. I can talk about this forever, but I'll get PTSD. This was disgusting.
Well, no, I mean regarding the total, that fucking idiot announcer. I mean. They intercepted the ball in the end zone and went 100 yards for a touchdown.
Right. To cut. Right. Of course. That was just the final stake. That's just the abridged version. And the announcer immediately goes, the over miraculously hits. Not even that Arlington won the game with it. No, never mind that. He's already saying the over miraculously
Well, that's
hit.
what's so hilarious was like the over was going to hit because they were inside the 5-yard line.
The over was not going to hit, Colby. The ball hits the ground. The game's over. The under hits. The over was not going to hit. This was
what if it's a completed pass, though?
Yes, if it's a completed pass, that's fine.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like they were inside the 10-yard line, so
right.
It's
100%.
It's not like from midfield.
I know, but there was no reason for him to go 105 yards for a touchdown. That's not even the point. The whole game, there was first of all, that was like the fourth defensive touchdown. There was 3 defensive touchdowns.
Oh, the one first touchdown was a pile of shit.
The one was a fumble on a punt. Right, that's just when Manny Wilkins just throws the ball away. Here, someone get a touchdown and get away from me. Like this was insane. Everything about it. This game was insane. The total yards of this game, what? 156 to 209 for Christ's sakes. I mean, that's not even one team. This is hilarious. Now I'm getting very upset because and I love it. And the score was, I mean, it was gifted. It was 16-3, like immediately because of the Wilkins fumble, scoop for a touchdown, the pick six, and Arlington didn't do anything. Next 16-3, they go to bet analyst Aaron Nolan on the sideline who goes, the over has just got moved up to 48. That never happens to the over. Yeah, maybe it's because 19 points were just scored in a minute. Well, maybe that's the reason why it moved up. And that's just basic fucking math. Like, we get it, ESPN. We get ESPN, UFL. You're pushing gambling. We understand. But at least know what the hell you're talking about or do anything. Just be like, the over miraculously hits. Worst speed of the century. It's like they're just saying, like, oh, my God. What a nightmare this game was.
Yeah, I mean, the Manny Wilkins injury, obviously tough. I'm just assuming that's out for the year.
Yeah.
Has anyone actually seen a report on this?
Awful scene. But you know what? I stopped feeling bad for him the second he just threw that ball away for a touchdown. If you tuck it in and get hurt for the year, then thoughts and prayers. But otherwise, get to the sideline, Manny Wilkins. And I tell you what, that stretcher wasn't even out putting Manny Wilkins on until J. Mark was already tweeting for Byron Scott to replace him. He's tweeting St. Louis GMs, head coaches, front office. He's tweeting to Rock, someone to get him a workout. God, how about a little bedside manner there, J. Mark? Jeez Louise.
No, fuck it. I mean, you gotta push the good stuff out when you can. Come on.
I'll say this one last thing about this bad beat of the under, and this was a bad beat on the under. On that 105-yard interception return, as it's happening, I'm laughing because it's UFL. You have to handicap in ridiculousness. Pick six after pick six. And even Luis Perez's pick six was hilarious because the play before he cried for a roughing the passer call. But he's on his way down. He's like, how about a flag, ref? And they gave it to him. Fine, Perez. Here's your flag. Next play, pick six.
Are you happy? Terrible human beings.
Right.
Can we talk about that?
But as it's happening, I'm like, this is UFL. You kind of have like a serenity to it. Like you're more prepared for it. Like I compare it to like the Buddhist philosophy. You wake up, you die every morning. That way you can live your life to the fullest, And with UFL, you go into it knowing it's going to be a shit show. So no matter what you see, you have to be prepared for it. But that was beyond that fucking 105 interception yard return to make it the fourth defensive touchdown in that game just to clear the over. And the announcers rubbing it in. Ridiculous!
Yeah, I mean, I saw it from a different point of view, I guess, because
the over. That's your point of view.
but no, I'm saying like when that play happened, right. I was like, this idiot doesn't realize they were 5 yards away from a score. So I was like, there was a high probability in a way of a score on that play. I mean, I guess it's the UFL, so maybe it's not as high as the college football UFL, but you know what I mean.
I see your point of view. It's not like it was from the 50 and it was just a scoop and score or something like that, like on a Hail Mary or something like that. That would have been bad, but it's just the way it happened. Like, and especially in this league, you don't want to score. You don't want to give another team the ball back, even with 15 seconds ago with the onside kick rule. It's just, but he wasn't going to stop that. And they had Stoops mic'd up, and he was like, "Let him score." Stoops is like, enjoy for the ride. So hell, our defense has outscored the last two teams. Let him score. Let him have a good day. His baby mama's giving him problems. He needs a touchdown.
Now let's talk about that, because obviously I didn't think the under was going to hit when Manny Wilkins got injured right away, but now
it shouldn't have. It should have. There was 300 yards combined offense.
Now these battle birds, I don't have a future on them. Where are you at? Should we stick a fork in these battle birds, or is the league? I guess you can never burn a ticket in this league because they'll probably have like some type of trade where the battle birds get some quarterback or something. But CJ, where are you at with the battle birds long term?
Well, it's tough. So they got Max Dugan now who stepped in there, who did not look good, but at the same time, you have to give him a week, whatever, to prepare. He had some good days at TCU. J. Mark, who's that Stephen F. Austin backup they have behind Dugan?
Trey Self,
who tweeted out, "Praise be the Lord, he's blessed for an Achilles injury." Wilkins for Dugan not to look good, so he might have an opportunity. I still have a little bit of belief in St. Louis because I believe in their weapons. I believe in their offense. Even Tony Baloney a little bit. They want them to win. Coach.
But I'm about to say they just put the championship game there. Right. We're looking at another dud here.
The second they announce it, this organization is falling apart. I will say they're number one in our power rankings. So this announcement to Stephen F. Austin, quarterback, saying, "Lord bless it," an Achilles injury.
Oh man, J Mark. We cashed on the Renegades. I think we both cashed on the over, being a couple of sharps that we are.
Congratulations, sharp over betters.
But wait, we all have a future on Renegades at least, right? So there's a little bit of there's a silver lining in there, Bet Detective.
There is and of course, and like me and J Mark were discussing, I don't really know what to think of this Arlington. Their defense is obviously great. As Stoop said, their defense alone has outscored the last two teams they've played. But that offense just doesn't put it together properly. They don't convert when they should. Perez, throw a pick six. He's the king of spring. They love their running back. I did like Sal Cannella made a nice appearance there. He ripped that fumble in that punt play, then had a big conversion the next drive.
The quarterback is toast.
But yeah, they're the team I'm riding all year. So I've done it before the season started. So I'm going to go with it. But I still want to. They need to clean up a lot of things. So.
I am a little bit worried about the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball looks pretty good. But, I mean, J Mark, your thoughts on this game and our futures and everything?
Yeah, I mean, for the battle, injuries happen in all sports, and the next guy's got to be ready to go. Battlehawks had 2.5 yards per play. You got to do better than that, even if it is a bad or a backup quarterback coming in. Arlington maybe getting a little help from the league here. They did trade offensive tackle Kellen, I don't know how to say his last name, Daesh, to the Memphis Showboats in return for guard J.D. DiRenzo. Kellen Daesh of the Renegades had played 3 snaps while DiRenzo's played 146. So they're getting a much better player.
Nothing to look here, nothing to see here, folks. Just Memphis moving and shaking.
You can't have. This is why I was getting into it with some people.
Surprised Matt didn't bring that up to The Rock today when he had him on his show. Hey, Rock, you imagine who? You imagine his reaction there? What? What are you talking about?
No, but that's a huge problem with this shit. Is like, this is the first spring league, I guess, that we could say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't recall in the USFL like trades mid-season.
Yeah.
In the most recent USFL, not the OG one, but this is why, to me, like, private ownership is so key, because having the whole league own fucking every team, and this just gets swept underneath everyone's. Who in their right mind would make this fucking trade?
This is the second time it's been the Renegades that benefit, right? Because they got Perez for a third string linebacker. Now they get a guard that's played 146 snaps for some guy that's played 3.
It's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. But
The Rock has futures on Renegades.
But hey, we got a future on it. Let's cash on this bullshit, all right? Folks, want to tell you the UFL Gambling Podcast is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Tune in to SGPN this Thursday for the NFL Draft Show. It's a big, it's a gigantic live watch party for the entire round 1 of the NFL Draft, featuring all your favorite hosts and fans from SGPN. Tune in Thursday, 8:00 Eastern. YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast. Once again, that's YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. You ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before a big bet? Ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables, but you hit your ATM limit? Well, these things, they're a thing of the past, because Edge Boost is a thing, and they have your back, people. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, and Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move money when and wherever you need it, without the delays that come with traditional banks. And for you high rollers out there, yes, you can move $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals, and it works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never ever wait for a wire transfer to clear ever again. And it gets better. Every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you can earn cashback rewards up to 5%. Yes. And it's even better than that. There's no credit checks. There's no minimum balance. There's no usage fees. Simply verify your identity and you're ready to go. So go to edgeboost.bet. Use our promo code SGPN. Once again, that's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Yes, MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft. Plus, there's props for every game. And one of the things I love, true DGens out there, the MyBookie money bag. Check that thing out. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations as well. Even outside of the States, you could easily deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. So what are you doing? Head over to mybookie.ag. And when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply, of course, but that's mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back on the UFL Gambling Podcast where crossroads meet bullshit. What's up?
Not to interrupt you, but you were talking about the live draft night on SGPN. I went ahead and put out there, in case you guys want to see it, that if the Bears do not take a defensive lineman or offensive lineman, or Genty if he's there, I'm going to take a shot of Malort. And if you are not familiar with Malort, it's a terrible alcohol. It's very bitter. So if they fuck it up and don't do what I hope they do, then you can tune in at least to see me torture myself.
You have Malort in that room right now?
I think it's back here.
Show that fucking bottle
I got
off
a
to the good
little
people.
mini of it.
A mini bottle of Jepson's Malort. I didn't even know they made airplane bottles of Jepson's Malort.
I will shoot it.
Why? What the fuck is the point of an airplane-sized bottle of Jepson's Malort? Like that's
kick back.
Yeah, can I just have one neat, please? No,
That's
Malort. Listen, I've lived in Chicago many years. I know all about Malort. I know all about the marketing campaign. They sponsor my other drinking stories podcast I do. That should only come in barrels.
That's some Spirit Airlines shit, though.
Oh, it's terrible. The history behind it, and you make a Malort face. We do it as a prank. We call it the Chicago handshake. We're like, oh, you got to try Malort just to see people get tortured. Like, we don't drink it, but we say we just want everyone else to know. But that's incredible. What about Tyler Warren? Would you be happy with Tyler Warren at number 10?
I know he's a great athlete, but I don't think he's worth a 10th pick in the draft. I am a big Cole Kmet guy too, so taken away from Cole Kmet for a 10th pick, I don't like it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially when there's another Cade McNown out there. All right, so you guys have been so great in the first round historically. Why pass up a sure thing when you can take a chance on consistency and just take a guy that will be off your roster in a few years? How many times have the Bears? Let's talk about this. Are they the worst team?
I was gonna say I think Malort should be taken regardless of just because you're putting your faith in the Bears management.
I did get a DM from Adam Pelletier, managing editor of the SGPN, saying what charity and how much to donate to just do it anyway.
Yeah, just do the damn. Lord,
That's gonna happen tomorrow night, regardless. We'll see. I'm sorry, Thursday night. Tune in once again, folks. Sports Gambling Podcast on YouTube. So we got through the first two games, and then boom. This bullshit cover here. The Birmingham Stallions.
I was just gonna say, wouldn't this be your second loss, Kobe? You're gonna breeze through this one. There's no way you're gonna tell me you had Houston plus 7.5. You're not rewriting that history on us.
That is true.
I thought you said 2-1.
That is true. I guess I was 2-2. I was 2-2, but my money line cash.
I know. Your money line cash.
We'll
get
to that.
You're
right.
We'll get to that. Let us have this moment.
That's why it felt like 3-1. Yes, Birmingham Stallions did not cover by 0.5 point, but they still won. And my power rankings, it was quiet in the in our Slack channel when I said, "You guys get this bullshit out of here. The Stallions are the team to beat."
You also said this would be a bloodbath.
Right. Yeah.
It was
a bloodbath. A get right game. 357 yards to 328 yards. That's 6.4 to 5.7.
Garbage time can dilute the numbers. Oh man, but this close at 8.5 too.
Yeah, for sure. And that's and that's again anywhere the steam went, that side covered. That's how it's been, the reverse steam. So,
but I do want to highlight something here.
Mm-hmm.
I know I didn't cover. But what did I tell you Skip was going to do? And I think if you watch that, he said he's going to make sure Matt Corral is going to run the ball more. 52 yards rushing. And to me, as someone that was watching the game, I thought if you're a Stallions fan, which I know there's like 6 of them, but those are the signs you want to see, because I do think lost in that, somewhat of a tight game, I guess, from a scoring point of view, was to me
and the game point of view.
No, but that to me is huge because that opens up the whole offense. Rushing for 52 yards as your quarterback. They were able to then have a better day on the ground with Marable and Roundtree. And also Case Cookus came in and fired a fucking 36-yard pass.
He did. Now, why did Case Cookus come in though? Because Corral got hurt running.
Right.
Still, you got to do it, and you should run Cookus. I'll be honest, run everybody. In these fucking leagues, you should run everybody.
Oh man,
I feel great about my Stallions' future, guys.
Well, there was two surprises. Yeah, well, I mean, no, the Stallions, whatever they did, what they had to do, they got the win. Houston, like we said, is better. Like I said, at least I think they're starting to look better than we thought they were. Yeah, definitely have to put them up a peg. Curtis Johnson still does Curtis Johnson things like. When I was 11-0, they score a touchdown. He goes for 1 to make it a 4-point game. Okay. Calls a timeout in between. Yells at the quarterback to hustle over. Then they go for 1 again. Like, what are you doing? Like every week he just does some stupid shit like this. But yeah, 2 surprises. One, apparently they had Jay McClendon on the roster this entire time at quarterback. And like, if we knew this,
hold on. I mean, he's a beast every time he fucking steps in these leagues.
Right.
This is what I mean by the Memphis Showboats. You cannot tell me there is not better quarterbacks sitting out there. I didn't know he was on a roster either. Right. I didn't know he was on this roster. And I can tell you this, we've seen him now, I think in 3 different variations of spring leagues.
Yep.
He's fucking good every time he comes in. I don't understand who's evaluating these quarterbacks that make you think, let's trot Anthony Brown out there over this guy if he's on our fucking roster. Make it make sense. J-Mark, did they just pick him up and we just didn't know?
No, I mean, it turns out he's been on the
roster the whole time.
This is the dumbest fucking league I've ever heard of in my life, dude. Like,
I mean, he was instant offense. He was throwing the ball vertical. Like they're a completely different team with him in there. Like even when like Birmingham went up, like it looked like, oh, okay, well they'll still have a chance. Even with 17-10 when they had that last second touchdown before half, Deion Kane was the second surprise, by the way, ruled out all week. All of a sudden, hey, there he is catching a 50-yard touchdown. What? Oh yeah, we put him back in.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
That's why there's questionable, doubtful. That's why there's degrees to this. You can't say out and then in. Once you're out, but not in the UFL. But point is, McClendon looked great, and this Houston team looked fine. Birmingham, yeah, it was a good win, but Houston was definitely the right side.
I actually got shit on both ways here because I had the under and the over cash, but I just want to highlight that enough. Once again, a couple of years ago when The Rock owned the XFL before they merged with the USFL,
it was a 50-yard field goal, by the way, almost at the buzzer to hit that over.
Yeah,
it was close. I think that was a bad beat, but anyway, I think the bad beat was more McClendon playing than.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't know he was in the fucking league. Also, if you remember on that XFL, like he was on, I think it was the Vegas Vipers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely.
When he came in, he balled out, and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't understand how this is what there's too many teams that have shitty quarterback play where I know there's guys out there. If you would have told me this guy was available and wanted to play, because I was assuming that he just was like, I'm going to retire and just, work my shift at Costco. So if you knew you have access to him, why the fuck wasn't every team trying to trade him when he was third string on the depth chart? It's absolutely insane to me because if I had to power rank, it's like Perkins. Remember the middle of the year last year, Michigan just signs Perkins. We're like, what?
Yeah,
he's available. What? This is what I mean. Is like they should be. EJ Perry should have already been cut. You're right. Troy Williams, you can make the case for. I don't know. I like having a running quarterback and some depth, but he definitely looked like shit this past week. Anthony Brown, I don't understand how he made the fucking roster. Right. I mean, there's a slew of these quarterbacks for each year, each team, aside from Birmingham, that I just feel like, how the fuck are these guys in the league when there's better guys out there that would definitely take advantage of their opportunity? I mean, is he starting moving forward? Because I will reevaluate the Roughnecks. They might be able to get into the playoffs.
They got to start moving forward after that, right?
Well, it's Curtis Johnson. He was third on the depth chart. He evaluated in the preseason and said, yeah, he's our third best quarterback. He should be fired right now just for that.
Yeah, it took a Nolan Henderson injury for this to happen, which is wild.
He went 22 of 31, 71%, 236 yards, 7.6 yards of completion. Now, he did throw a pick, but he also had a rushing touchdown and led the team in rushing with 17 yards, which is fucking pathetic. I mean, if he doesn't start next week. Now, I did love Nolan Henderson getting absolutely rocked. I love how that's a big hit in 2025. Right? They're like, it was a brutal hit. That's what happens. That's what happens when quarterback runs. All right. That's what should happen. Any you willing to jump in on a Roughnecks future bet, detective?
A future? That's a bit much. But I've definitely upgraded. I've been saying the last couple of weeks they're not as bad as we think they are because, they lost Arlington by 2. They got a W. They played Birmingham very well, toe to toe with them. I mean, except for that week 1 blowout, they've been in every game. But no, certainly not a future. Not with Curtis Johnson as their coach. Just simple as that.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about the Stallions moving forward? I know you've been public enemy number 1. You're in the Reddit's battle with these Stallion fans. Do you think you're still a skeptic, or you think with the injury with the Battle Birds and everything else going on in the league, you think that's looking more promising, or are you still on the same page?
I mean, Birmingham can absolutely win this league like they do every year. I mean, no doubt about that. I think it's a bit of the emperor doesn't have any clothes here. They're the worst version of this Birmingham team of the last couple of years. I don't think they're as good as we're used to, but it's still good enough to win this league. But I just think there's this value on other teams to play for. But, like I said, these numbers are always going to be inflated, and they have. I mean, how many weeks have they covered? Just that one week, 2? Is that it? The only time they're
Michigan, right?
against the spread. Yeah,
at Michigan they covered, right?
Yeah, and they haven't covered any other week. So,
J Mark, your thoughts? I'm sorry.
No, go. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel worse about my Stallions' future. They do not look good. I think they're obviously going to make the playoffs, right? We can already see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they might lose to Michigan in the playoffs. I just think if Perkins remains the starter and if Michigan can keep running the ball like they have been, I think they're going to beat the Stallions in the playoffs. So I don't.
Well, that's the problem. They can't run against the Stallions. They're winless against the Stallions, and because the Stallions actually have an awesome defensive line, so that's why they can never beat the Stallions. Is the fact that the Stallions will make you beat them in the air, and also Nolan is Nolan. I don't know. I feel like I'm pulling up the box score. Michigan ran for what they did run for $120 against them. I don't know if that was in garbage time or not, but I feel like watching that game, I thought they were struggling to run the ball. I don't know, maybe right then but if Perkins play, but Etling's back, so now let's go throw off that chemistry, and
true. And you can still get the Stallions at 2-1, Arlington's at 3.5-1, Panthers at 4.5-1, and DC 5.5-1.
I mean, the DC one, why would you not go in on that?
Yeah.
Oh, let's just talk about it. Sorry, this is when I was bragging. I think a lot of it had to do with this game because yes, I did have the over. Yes, I did have the Brahmas in the points, and yes, I had the Brahmas at plus 270. I think it was on the money line.
I'm surprised this game is not a separate episode in its entirety that you're running here. This is a recap of this game.
Peyton party lineage. They got a history. They got a history in DC. I told you, crazy bastards at this Defenders team. Although I still think there's much more. There's a ton of value in taking the Defenders, but obviously you had the big punt return. And let's talk about this for a second. There was a pivotal play in this game where Reggie Barlow challenged. I think it was a pass interference or defensive holding.
Well, Reggie Barlow.
Not Reggie Barlow. I'm sorry. Shannon Harris. Right.
The doorman.
The bellboy. And Mike Pereira then says, no, that we're not going to call that. But on this other thing here, this happened.
Yeah.
So we're going to give him his challenge back. and it's a first down for DC. What the fuck is that? Like, what a dumb rule. Like, so wait, if you challenge something and you're saying specifically the defensive holding, right? It was PI or defensive holding. I forget which one, but then he says, no, that's not it. It's not valid. But there was this that happened on this play. So we will then, he can get his challenge back. How stupid is that rule? Did you guys catch this?
I don't get the whole, you have to say specifically what you're looking for. There was a play, the St. Louis one, that touchdown right before halftime when it was like, is it 99 or 98? And like Tony Meatball's like, which one is it? The 99 had to run up the Meatball and rip his shirt. Like, it went like this. Like, okay, it was on him. And then they're showing Pereira like on that last play. Is it 12? Who the hell's 12? Oh, it's on 12. Okay. Like just fucking look at the play and see if there's a penalty. That's it.
But don't they do that on every play anyway?
Nah, apparently not. Yeah.
Well, yeah. The confusing thing about that one was he reviewed it and then he goes, well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Give him his challenge back because this should have been blown dead because of the false start. So we're not even going to look at it. We should have blown it dead. You missed it. If that's not challenged, you shouldn't be able to go back on it.
Right. It's insane.
I just
step up and say they do it themselves.
I just feel like they continually move the goalpost on what the fuck the challenge is, or what Pereira and Blandino's rulings are. It just seems like it's taboo to me. It's like, oh, and then they give him the challenge back. I'm like, wait, but he asked for a defensive holding, and you said it wasn't accurate. So why would he get his challenge back? I'm just so confused on what the fuck it is. Anyway, the Brahmas and Peyton party. Obviously, there's a great punt return, special teams, fun fucking thing. And then Anthony McFarland. Hey, you got 14 carries, 3 receptions, getting him the ball 17 different times. This is an interesting one because you look at the matchup, and I mean, DC had 409 yards of offense, but
now I love this. Because you're a yardage whore. Now all of a sudden yardage doesn't mean anything when DC outgains it by 200 yards.
No, well, I'll say the punt return always is going to dilute. When you have a pick six or a punt return for a touchdown, it's going to shift.
100%.
Yeah,
right.
But DC still should have outgained it, but they kept settling for field goals. You can't keep settling for fucking field goals.
That's what it came down to. The Brahmas had 3 red zone trips, 3 touchdowns. DC had 3 red zone trips, 1 touchdown.
Yeah. But I going back to what you just said, I still think when I look at Arlington's offense, when I look at the Battlebirds injuries and Tony Baloney, I think DC is going to be in the Freedom Cup. So why not take a future on DC to get to the Freedom Cup right now? 5-1, you said?
5.5 to 1.
That's why.
Better yet, 14 to 1 to get DC over the Stallions, or over the Panthers.
That's wild because DC, like I said, they didn't come I know they lost their first game, but they didn't really come down much in my book. There was tied up with, and 9 minutes to go in the third quarter.
They had no fans there because it was Easter too. They normally have more fans.
The beer snake was a little weak. A lot of people were saying that shows you that, see if you're going to win or lose based on that. Tamu looked great though. He won us some DFS points. He had like 31 DFS points. We cashed again, 3rd out of 4 weeks of DFS cash. Thanks to Tamu. He is my MVP. He looks like the best quarterback. He's a little
has anyone
flawed,
ever
but he
thrown for 300 in this league?
And he ran.
He was
for
299.
Like
he was 299, which it counts.
And he ran for a bunch and a touchdown. I mean, he's flawed, but he's putting up the best numbers in the league. He's my MVP.
But just last week, he was thrown for like 50%.
Percentage. He gets the yardage, baby. Like we said, like Kobe says, it's all about the yards.
Well, he gets the snaps too. It's not one of these phony ones where they bring it out of 2 quarterbacks. When he gets the snaps, that's what you want. Bryce Perkins could be doing these goddamn numbers all year, bet detective, if they gave him the snaps.
And DC finds new receivers each week. Who the hell is Riley Moore, this tight end? He's going a big tight end touchdown. Braylon Sanders with a big game. I mean, we also got who else caught the one for him?
The other touchdown was Moore McKinley, right? Moore McKinney, I think.
That's the tight end he was talking about.
Oh,
that was Bailey Moore McKinney, but doesn't matter. Point is,
Didn't he only throw one touchdown? I thought he only threw one touchdown. Yeah.
Who had the big game though for him? Not was it Roland had a big game?
Roland did well. Yeah.
Roland had a monster game for him. That being said, 6.7 yards of play for them, 4.2 for San Antonio. DC looked fine, but congratulations, San Antonio. You got the coaching bump. You got the win. They rallied. It was a good game. It was the best game of the weekend, I thought.
I agree. Now moving forward, I will say if San Antonio's defense plays like that, just kind of bend but don't break, and them emphasizing getting the ball more to McFarland, what are their odds to make the playoffs? Is there just to make the playoffs out there?
Yeah, there is. Let me pull it up real quick.
It might be worth a shot. I mean, my only problem is I still don't think Kellen Mond is great, but as long as he's not turning the ball over.
Well, you'll like to hear this. Then your brand new coach there, Pardee, says he believes that Kellen Mond's best football is ahead of him, and I agree because it's certainly not behind him. We certainly haven't seen it there.
Yeah,
so it better be in front of him.
Sign that as well.
Yeah, it better be in front of him.
I don't know if the price is well enough, but Brahmas to make playoffs plus 140 for yes.
I mean, you got to think with the Battle Birds the way they've been shot down, and with I don't know because Arlington. How many weeks are left? We got 6 weeks left, or 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I did enjoy all the Twitter posts of people explaining who Pardee was and his lineage.
Yeah,
and I did feel a bit like a Reddit mod replying to all of them. Had you tuned into the UFL Gambling Podcast, you would have already known this.
I agree.
We know parties, all right?
We're a step ahead with the parties for sure. With all the to be honest with you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this was my big game because I hit on all three of those wagers, and this is probably why I came in with big dick energy.
Congratulations!
Not realizing I was 2-2 ATS on the
I know you didn't.
Right?
We were all
3-0 in this game. How about that? Yeah.
Were we all on the over on this one? I know I had the over.
I think so.
We were all on the over on this one.
You two were on San Antonio. I thought DC was going to roll them, but definitely hit the over on this one.
I was on DC as well. I won't let you stand alone there.
Thank
I thought that they were going to win. In the game before that, we didn't really talk the over, but or the total. I took the over on that. I believe you guys were on the under. So
on Birmingham?
Yeah, no, I lost on that. I
was definitely on the under, definitely on the under in Birmingham. But like I said, the bad
bullshit cover. Yeah.
The bad beat was not the 50-yard field goal. The bad beat was Jalen McClendon playing quarterback and being on the field at all.
Yeah. It is some bullshit right there. I remember I was playing in a high school game or like a championship, and like they just brought in some players that weren't even on the fucking roster.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like that's what essentially McClendon, who, you know, Skip Holtz was saying they got McClendon. I didn't know they had fucking McClendon. We'll see. Maybe he'll get traded. Maybe he'll get traded over the next couple weeks.
Here's a question for you.
What's that?
With Memphis getting the Breakers OC, does Kyle Sloter come back?
No. I don't think so.
No? All right.
I mean,
but McClendon to St. Louis makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
McClendon to St. Louis for a guy with 3 tackles. Make it happen, The Rock. Even though you still don't got your flight situation figured out. All right, you're still in Hawaii.
Danny's league, not The Rock's.
I know. If he can't even get to Vegas for WrestleMania, he's not making it to a damn Stallion game.
Has he got health problems or something? This seems weird.
He's got I don't give a shit problems.
Yeah, he's got everything's beneath him problems.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our list there, and let's get to the power rankings. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Bryce Perkins did completely botch my Underdog Fantasy play when he ran for 45 yards. I was on the lower, but that's some of the angles you can get at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em, you can play at any sport and win up to 100 times the amount of money you enter. So sign up, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick. Plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. They got models, All right. Major League Baseball model is fire. They just dropped that thing. They also have models for NBA and golf. We used them a lot for college hoops, college football, NFL. So obviously those will be coming back around, but you got to love what Rhythm's doing with these models. Pick so good it feels like cheating. And building your own model is one of the things I love. Is like you can take things from each model and say, I don't know, I like teams that play this type, defensive teams, running the ball, whatever you like. And let me tell you, Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25. All right. And 50% off the annual subscription with the promo code SGPN50. That's Rhythm. That's RITHMM. Promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. All right. We are back on the UFL Gambling Podcast where crossroads meet bullshit. And let's talk about these power rankings, because I'm feeling good about these power rankings these days. You guys throwing your slander about the Stallions. We'll talk about them in a second. At number 8 is the Memphis Showboats. And I think there's a pretty big gap between 8 and 7. Finally. You guys are right here.
Yeah, no need to talk about this. If Memphis don't last in your power rankings, then we can't take you. You can't be taking.
I'm just happy Colby finally joined us. We were on this last week. CJ and I had Memphis at 8. He's like, "You guys are crazy."
Yeah,
he agrees now. So
it's those good. Toledo uniforms. If they go back to the red.
Yeah, well, I don't see that graphic being brought up there. I don't see like last week's rankings to this week's rankings or anything.
Well, we see who you guys had at number 1 looking mighty phony.
A lot of charts. Phony. All right, let's go.
Oh, yeah. At number 7, I got the Houston Roughnecks.
Right.
I have zero faith that Curtis Johnson's going to start the right quarterback.
You're just contemplating a future on him.
I asked you. I was doing what good hosts do. You asked.
Oh, okay. All right,
I wasn't saying I'm taking a future on this crazy son of a bitch.
All right. So you're riding your party productions. I got you.
Oh, you're goddamn right, buddy. Party town. All right.
I mean, if you can rely on another white guy to return a punt 80 yards for a touchdown, then God bless you. You're right. You're Brahmas.
Anthony McFarland, I was part of the handicap. 17 touches back in his hometown. All right.
Yeah. Shout out to Matthew Sexton, the white guy, the exciting white, my white ankle release, who did return that punt for a touchdown.
Wait, so who do you guys got at 7? It better be these Houston Roughnecks, right?
No, it's these garbage Brahmas who I just talked about. Now, they listen, you can tout McFarland all you want. They still refuse to give him the ball as much as I thought. He won't score. Why would, like we were telling Jimmy, why would you score when you could sign Aiden Robbins on Thursday and give him 2 touchdowns? So yeah, I don't
understand.
What's that?
I was just gonna say when you go to you can hit that button again. Go ahead, hit it.
Because I understand how the bastard thinks. I taught him. Now I own one.
I don't trust Kellen Mond. I take McClendon over Mond. That's for sure. That's why it's going. That's why they have Brahmas at 7.
McClendon ain't playing again. He's back. He's back on the bench.
As soon as he's traded, I'll move him down.
What did Curtis Johnson say the week before? We got our quarterback now, Nolan Henderson.
Yeah, sure did.
He didn't say that for McClendon. He's like, this prick came in the game. J-Mark, you got a 7.
Yeah, can't back you here. Sorry, CJ. I got the Roughnecks. It's okay. Curtis Johnson. I liked what I saw from Peyton Pardee. He's fired up. He's ready to lead this team, and he wants to make his mark. You could tell that. And whether McFarland got that touchdown or not, I thought the offense looked better. I'm still not sold on Kellen Mond, but I did think the offense looked good. So I got the Roughnecks at 7.
Yep, and at number 6, I got the St. Louis Battlebirds.
All right.
You took away, man, there's no more Manny Wilkins, no more McClendon. I don't think this team's very physical. Now that we got a party going on down in San Antonio, I got no confidence in these Battlebirds. So give me them at number 6.
Okay, well, at least you're not overreacting to one win here with San Antonio as you put them in the top 3 in your damn lineup. They're 50-1 last week for a ticket. But all right, fair enough. I got Houston here at 6, the Roughnecks. I did contemplate flipping them with St. Louis, which I have above, but I'm not gonna mark St. Louis down that much just because they lost Manny Wilkins. Give Dugan a week, he'll be fine. But Houston at 6. Luckily, Houston and San Antonio go at it next week. So it looks like we'll have a battle here between our 7s and 6s and 8s here. Or I'm sorry, San Antonio might be 2 on fucking Colby's rankings. Who knows? We haven't got there yet. But I have Houston at 6, San Antonio 7, Memphis 8.
Yeah, I got the Brahmas. I got the Brahmas at 6. I did think the offense looked better. All that good stuff I said for not putting them at 7, but still not quite sold on them, and I can't put them above any of the other teams. So I got them at 6.
I think you guys argued he was the best quarterback in the league. Maybe Manny Wilkins. What, you can't? He's out for the season, and it's just nothing.
Colby.
They're still power ranked high.
Colby.
He's the best DFS quarterback because we're rushing on that offense. He had the best floor.
And they're about to be led by Iowa native Max Duggan. Come on.
I'm a Max Duggan guy. In fact, I you'd be hard pressed to find someone in his fucking freshman year when he came in just for 2 games, repping fucking Max Duggan. We were saying forever that TCU should be at one point. I was saying they should hire Rich Rodriguez with the way Duggan's an athlete, but Tony Meatball. He's not going to know how to utilize him. If Duggan went to the Stallions, it would actually work. But Battlebirds. No, you guys are wrong. You guys just argued he's maybe one of the best players in the league. He's gone now, and there's no ramifications. Unbelievable. Who am I doing this show with? Right?
Listen, I slid him down from 3 to 5. That's ramification. I'm not going to jump off a cliff and put the Brahmas ahead of him.
Well, I am at number 5. Show me that cliff. I'm diving off that fucking thing because at number 5, I do have the San Antonio Brahmas. Look, party time, excellent motherfuckers. And I can tell you this: if McFarland's touching the ball 17 times, they're going to be winning a lot more games.
Okay, fair enough.
Who you got at 5?
St. Louis 5. Then I think Duggan will be fine. I think they will bounce back. And like I said, this is a team that the league wants to do well. So,
J-Mark,
Iowa native Max Duggan. I like that.
Iowa native. He grew up 35 minutes from me here.
Yes.
I got them at 5. I think it does take a step back from Manny Wilkins for a little bit, but I still think they're going to be all right. But they got to prove it before we can keep them in that top 4, right? They got to prove it. So I got them at 5.
At number 4. This is where it gets a little interesting to me. At 4, I'm going to put the Arlington Renegades. I have questions with the offense as much as I have the future and the defense. I mean, the defense, you can make an argument. Might be the best in the league.
Colby. When they won the championship, it was because of their defense. Why are we focused on the offense?
I mean, well, they had Luis Perez traded for him, though. They forgot about that little nugget there. But number 4, give me the Renegades with Bob Stoops. Score. He could score. Bet Detective, who do you got at 4?
Yeah, I got Michigan at 4. It's a tough one between Michigan and Arlington there. I don't think there is any argument. Arlington is the best defense in the league. I don't think there's any debate for that. Michigan, they look great. Like I said, they installed a lot more confidence of the Michigan of old, which they've been inconsistent all year. But at the same time, it was against Memphis. So I'll put them at 4 for now with a soft place in there, but feeling good, especially if Perkins plays 100% of the snaps, which is not guaranteed.
J-Mark?
All right, I'm ready for Colby to boo me, but I got the Stallions here. This Stallion team does not look great.
I like this.
I know they're winning games, but they just don't look like a team that's dominant. This luck is going to catch up to them.
Emperor has no clothes.
Luck. Look, there's a thing called coaching, and this league could take a page from the only guy who knows how to fucking do it in this league. So, okay.
That's only going to get him so far. This is
it'll get you championships every year. But we'll see. We'll see. At number 3, I have the DC Defenders. I do think they, this was hard for me with 2 or 3, but I feel like DC's continuing to lose coaches. At some point, it'll cost them. They just lost their first game, and I know they won the yardage, but they did struggle in the red zone. I think that's something to note moving forward. So give me the defenders at 3. Bet Detective, who do you got at 3?
I got Arlington at 3. Like I said, like Stoop said, their defense has outscored their last 2 teams outright on their own. Once that offense does get clicking and tighten things up, King of Spring is in there. I mean, there's no need to knock them any lower. I think the defense is great. Offense is what it is. They got question marks, but I still like where they're heading. I like Arlington at 3.
J Mark 3.
Number 3, I also have DC. I told CJ before we started this, before you decided to show up for us here, that when I was driving during this game, so when I saw the score, because I was going to watch it later, I thought Tamu must have turned the ball over a lot, must have had a bad game. Not the case. Tamu looked very good. So for me, they are still one of the top contenders here, but I can't put them above number 3. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But Tamu did look good. I expect him to be a 50% guy. He was better than that.
And by the way, if you're looking at yards per game, defensively, it's the DC defenders are like by far better than everybody else. 206 yards per game is what their defense is doing. The the Renegades are at 232. So I mean they're number 3. So
yeah, points though.
I guess you can make
they're giving up. They're giving up in less than 9 points a game.
Yeah, yeah. True. Birmingham's number 2 in points, by the way. So at number 2 is the Michigan Panthers to me. I think they're actually the best roster, as I said, but I just can't trust Mike Nolan to make any in-game adjustments. If anything, he'll do the opposite by putting Danny Etling. So I do think roster-wise this is the best roster in the UFL this year. However, I am reluctant to think they're going to win the Freedom Cup. Who do you got at 2? Bet Detective.
No, they're number 2 in points allowed. They're also number 2 in my power rankings, Birmingham Stallions, and they're there just, I guess, out of you have to do it. You got to put them in there. Like I said, I can't knock them for being the worst version of Birmingham because that's still such a high bar. They're still Birmingham. They get the job done. They're number 2, and this isn't even something I had to think about.
And one of the reasons why Birmingham has been so iffy this year is they're 3rd worst in the country, or in the league.
Yeah.
At just 374 yards.
Yeah.
What's that?
And they do have an embarrassment of riches in that quarterback room, though. I mean, they've gone through 3 quarterbacks. In case Cookus is their 3rd string quarterback who came in, like you said, he throws a dime on his first play there,
Right.
And it was a huge play to cement the game.
Well, no, and he was a guy that took the Philadelphia Stars.
Yeah, he's an MVP.
To deep into the playoffs. Yeah. So
After Brian Scott got hurt.
Yeah. So he's pretty good 3rd string quarterback. Come to the UFL where the 3rd string quarterbacks are better than most of the 1st string quarterbacks. But who do you got at 2, J Mark?
Just quick shout out to Charles. I'm starting an I think we clicked at the same time. I'm starting an I Hate CJ Johnson club.
Charlie Vatterat. Yes.
Yeah. Sign me up for that. Number 2, I got the Michigan Panthers. I hope Mike Nolan finally got the message that Bryce Perkins is maybe a little bit better than Danny Etling, and that he will keep Bryce Perkins in the game, not bringing this Etling bullshit. But I just love the way they run the ball. I think their defense is really good. They're not quite number 1 for me, but they are number 2.
Yeah, and I mean I agree with the Michigan at number 2. We do see eye to eye here, but we do not see eye to eye on our top spot because Birmingham Stallions, they're the best team in the league. And like to me, the reason why is coaching. I don't think anyone else can even sniff how good of a coach Skip Holtz is in this league. Now, I will say Shannon Harris continues to impress me, but I don't think anyone is really on the same wavelength. And I know Bob Stoops has won a national championship, but I don't care. I think winning a national championship at Oklahoma, that's like what you're supposed to do when you're the fucking head coach of Oklahoma. When you can take shitty teams like UConn and be good, that tells me you're a good fucking coach. So yeah, I'll load up on the Stallions at number 1. Where are you going, Bet Detective, with number 1?
You can praise Skip Holtz without slandering Bob Stoops now. We don't have to get his record down there, all right? Listen, I love Skip Holtz, even from his Holy Cross Crusader days, but you don't have to dismiss Stoops' championship.
Oh, I love
Oklahoma.
Stoops. Mike Leach was with. I'm just saying,
right.
Oklahoma, they were the winningest program in college football history for a little bit. So it's like, what does that really mean?
All
You know?
All right. Well, it means they got a nice one in Bob Stoops. Anyway, my number 1 team, which was last week, and it's still this week, and that one bullshit win-loss punt returned, and it isn't going to affect me. TAMU, DC Defenders, number 1 team, not only the team that beat Birmingham, by the way, not only did TAMU look great, he was under a lot of pressure, and which is odd, which makes me. The one thing I don't like about DC is that O-line. They do seem to bring up a lot of pressure. TAMU seems he's like running for his life a lot, and he just lobs a lot of back shoulder balls that worked out for his favor. He knows how to handle it. San Antonio, I think, had 2 sacks coming into this week, and then I don't know if it was a coaching bump because of Pardee, but they were all over TAMU, and he still made plays and, almost pulled out the win in a game that they dominated yardage-wise. So I'm not going to take the loss against them. Everyone's going to lose a game. I'm still fine with them being number 1.
Everyone's going to lose a game, just like week 1 when the bellboy, Skip Holtz, had no idea. So I can't wait. I hope they meet up in the Freedom Cup.
But the difference was Birmingham had 150 yards in that game when they lost.
Yeah.
They
came in
dominated. They got dominated.
So many championships.
Well, they only had the whole offseason prepared for that game. And they got dominated as compared to this one where DC had 400 yards of offense and somehow got a little unlucky.
We'll see. Wait, they don't play a second time, do they? You're fucking lucky. You are fucking lucky, buddy. They don't. So, and they got Freedom Cup or bust. J Mark, who's your top team in the league?
Yeah, I love that we all have different number 1s. Quick question: does it behoove the league to have the Stallions win again or not win? I'm just curious from the angle there for fan excitement or viewer excitement. Is it better to have a team have 4 championships, or this team finally got upset and beat?
I don't know the answer. I guess you probably want. I guess you would want to have St. Louis win. It depends what team is winning.
For sure.
Like, because if it's Arlington, I don't think you're doing yourself any favors in this league. DC or San Antonio. I'm sorry, DC or St. Louis, and maybe you could actually say the league might benefit them. But yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, speaking of Arlington, they are my number 1 team. Bob Stoops is coaching them very well. They won on defense before, and you don't hear me say this often, but Luis Perez looks very decent as a quarterback. He looks very serviceable. I mean, he's what they need right now, right? And he's what they need. He's running the offense well. He knows the offense well. Stoops may not be Skip Holtz, I will give you that, but he is a good coach, and this is a great defense.
And I tell you what you need, J Mark, is a King of Spring book and that bookshelf behind you for the next episode. That's for sure.
Yeah, seriously. Instead of that bullshit liquor you got there, why don't you get some King of Spring back there? All right, I want to ask you guys this before we get out of here. I like how we all have different teams ranked number 1.
Rankings from everybody.
Friday, we get the Showboats at the Stallions. Saturday, we get the Michigan Panthers at the St. Louis Battlebirds. Sunday, we get the DC Defenders heading to Choctaw Stadium to take on the Dallas Renegades. And Sunday night, we get the Houston Roughnecks at the San Antonio Brahmas. Which game are you looking forward to most, Bet Detective?
Well, if you look at our power rankings, DC Arlington obviously pops out on you, 1 and 3 in my power rankings there. Also, I'd like to see how DC bounces back. Arlington at home. I already see a high total for that. I also like the Michigan St. Louis. I want to see how Dugan does with St. Louis. But those are 2 big games. The other 2, Birmingham is a bye week on Friday night. Congratulations. Your ranking. You can lock in your number 1 for next week.
Watch Memphis beat them. J Mark, I'm curious, what's the game you want to see most?
Yeah, I mean, like CJ said, my 1 and 3, but reverse of his DC Renegades. It looks like a good game, but the one I'm looking forward to the most is Panthers Battlehawks, because if Battlehawks lose this game, I think they're done. They don't have a prayer this season. So that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's DC Arlington, but good point on the Michigan St. Louis is actually the one I think we could probably learn the most from. DC Arlington, I think, okay, both good teams probably regardless, but Michigan, is Perkins going to play the whole game? Does Nolan can he actually go into a hostile environment and win? Somewhat hostile. And then can Max Duggan and the Battlebirds offense find a rhythm to themselves and maybe give us some optimism for the future. Anyway, we'll be back Thursday. Picks, winners, domination, plus 270 money lines.
that money line is going to keep going up and up each week.
over and unders, right? With 270 yards, overs. Yes. Anyway, we'll be back Thursday. Make sure you check out the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Actually, Thursday is the NFL Draft, boys. When are we doing this episode?
Yeah, good call on that one, huh? We can't
tomorrow, huh?
I
think it just
can't we?
I think it just came. I think it just started tomorrow. We're doing the pick show, right? What are we doing here, guys?
I don't know. But I think we can talk about this off the air.
Yeah. It's one of those
personal schedules.
We're crossroads meet bullshit. So I mean, come on. Give the Bet Detective a follow on Twitter at the CJ Sullivan _.
Yep.
Check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Also, J Mark's Old Fashioned Football podcast. Also, the College Football Experience, which I host. I'm on Twitter at TheColBD. The UFL Gambling Podcast is on Twitter at UFL Gambling Pod. Give us a follow. And till next time. This is the UFL Gambling Podcast, where Crossroads does meet bullshit. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot.